Hey guys, Ben Bush broadcasting live from my dining room table. Two things today. I think I can get through both. We're going to do a golf club, then we're going to do a hair dryer. The golf club starts in a similar approach that we've done so far with drawing out a sketch. I guess that's where the similarity stops. And then instead of starting from a two-dimensional plane, we're going to start from an existing form with a hair dryer. So without further ado, let's start some of this business. Let's see. I'm right-handed. We'll probably go with a right-handed club. All right, we need to go into the sculpt function. I'm going to start with sketching. And I will sketch on, I think right-handed means the club shaft goes this direction, so we'll be on this plane. Go normal 2. Now I'm going to just quickly sketch this guy out. Knowing that it is ugly, I agree with you so much. But kind of with the whole typical idea of CAD is the fewer lines you have. Okay, that seems respectable. I can tighten some of these up with my handles, right? Tuck you in just a tad. I want a flatter bottom. I'm oddly really happy with this shape so far. I try to go through these things before I do them in front of you because I don't like embarrassing myself. I like that slight contour up top. Okay. Man, I'm okay with this. Good job, Ben Bush. Finish sketch. All right, so from this sketch, instead of using this as an underlay to make our faces, what we're going to do, we're just going to straight up extrude this. So create, extrude this curve. Now, this is the thing that I know that's going to take y'all a little while to learn, but I want 4 sections, right? I can keep on going this direction, that's fine, then I can pull out from this, but what I'm going to want to do with these 2 examples today, the golf club and the hair dryer, is kind of have the form wrap underneath. In order to wrap underneath, you need more information. You got to make a tight turn. So I want a total of 4 faces, and I'd like to go symmetric. Well, 2 in the front, 2 in the back. So we don't need 4, we just need 2. And that's a bit too far. I can add more as we go. It's a little complicated. It's not as fast as doing it from the setup, but I know we need 4. And this middle section is going to represent our thickness of golf club. So 15 millimeters works for me. And the first thing I want to do is think about this, right? So this is where the shaft's going to come out of. I want to start developing the face. The face is going to be the simpler part of these 2. So I'm going to edit the form. I'm going to grab this perimeter. Fun little fact, right? So up to this point, I'm doing shift to go all the way around. As the more I use this, let me see, it's either loop or ring. If I start adding a section, you see how it adds it for me. So that's going to be a very helpful button now and into the future. All right, we're going to scale this guy down. Right, you see how we start. It's not quite a flat face yet, but it will be. Right, this is still an open surface, and you start getting that puckering. Not really down with the puckering, so I'll leave it kind of open. And then I'll come back and modify. I'm going to fill that hole. And just like magic, it does some of this. Yes, I know this face needs to be flat, so I'm not quite done with it. But that does save me some headaches. All right, grabbing the surfaces. Trying to get this to being relatively flat. Does that help? No, that hurts. All right, we'll leave it here for the moment. I'm probably going to make this edge crisper. But at the moment, I'm going to go ahead and round off the back, and I can come in and do some stylized content. This is where I'm starting to debate. Do I leave it as this? Is this like a 4-iron, or do I add some loft to it? This is where I'm going to get myself in trouble. Should I do this? No. Can I help myself? No. I'm going to grab these faces, and what I'd love to do, just put a little bit of, there we go, incline. 10 degree. Now, I don't know if I'm enough about golf to tell you like what that guy is, but at least we can get some loft under this ball, be a little bit professional with our developments. Okay, right, it does need a little bit of massaging, but that'll work for the front edge of our golf club. Now the back's typically the one that is more designed, more stylized, and I have a feeling I might need more information on here. Let's see. I'm gonna, same approach. Nope, we're not using rings. Cancel. Didn't I put an edge to that? I mean, I know it's recorded. I can go back and watch it, but I'm pretty sure I just put an angle on you. Modify. 10 degree. Okay, good. Maybe just never finish that command. U. Modify. Selection. All the way around. Thank you. And if I just, scale all these in, two options on scaling. We can grab that corner and scale like this, or we could have grabbed that ball in the middle. I think at this point we are okay. I'm kind of inclined to add one more. We'll see as we go. But I'm going to go, all right, that's good. Same approach as last time, fill. And yes, I will need more information, because what I'm trying to do is kind of wrap that under, and I don't have enough geometry yet to wrap that under. Okay, now back to this. I just need more information, so we're going to insert some edges. One, this is where I wish I had that same selection. Work my way around. It can flip back and forth. That's okay, because when you get all done, that's when you get your option here. Okay, and of course it's going to square it up some. Thinking about doing it one more time. Right click, repeat the insert edge, go around this border, and this time we'll put it to the inside of the line that I'm selecting. What I could have done if I was looking ahead, insert side, I could have done both, but I wasn't paying attention like that. Okay, so let's get this inside edge, or we can just grab that entire surface, up to you. Double checking. Cool. Okay. As long as we are working, don't want to do it twice. Modify. We're going to take that in. You see how I'm starting to get this surface that works here? I should have grabbed that entire surface. Now I know. Grab all these friends. I got to depress that. So push that down. It's nice I can kind of get a preview of like my material thickness going on here. I like that. Flatten you a bit. This is, yeah, actually, it's okay. It's okay. Can we flatten everybody? All right. Flat-ish surface. I want a thicker rim that I have now. So I'm going to select that loop. Right, I'm going to scale them in some, see how we added some thickness to the outside. Love that consistency, love that continuity. All right, I'm good with that. And boom, boom, boom. I'm going to scale that out just a notch. All right, all good here. Now, you want the weight at the bottom of the club to get in, to distribute that force. So what I'd like to do, grab some surfacings, you. Not exactly sure how I'm going to do this quite yet. I'm going to do a little rotation, get that out there, pull that down. Still want more mass. What if we grab this one? There we go. More mass, more weight. That is good. Ben Bush likes this. Okay. About the club is fine. Let me come back and work on this face a little bit. I'd like it to be flatter. Y'all know from other examples, the more information you put on these edges, the more crisp it becomes. So an opportunity to add some crispness. Go around. I like it to the outside, like negative 0.5. That will work. All right, so that's a sharper face. I think that is good. I'm a bit hesitant. That's the word I'm looking for here. Right? I don't want to mess with a lot of points because the more points I mess with, the more it's bumpy the surface will become. I have an idea. I'm going to come back to that in just a little bit. It's a technique that you could use with the hair dryer, but I might apply that technique here too. Okay, more mass. It's just an email. It ain't going nowhere. Right, and I can keep on doing the styling. I could add more faces. I could add more what do you call it, edges if I wanted to. But the point of this isn't so much to do stylization, but to show you this next move. While the faces may change, like shaft diameters are kind of already set, so this can be custom, but you're not going to have a million different diameters of shafts. So two things: I need to have a cylinder to go to. I think that's good, but I need to draw that, and right, this is not Rhino, so I need an angled plane somewhere off in this region. So it's nice, plane at an angle. What line? I'll just borrow one, and I'll rotate it to wherever I think. Let's see, we'll come up at that angle, so a little bit shallower. Okay, and then I'll do an offset. Whoop. That works for me. I want to give a little space for these to transition to one another. Get to that in a second. I need to make a transition. So I'll get two of these faces. It could be two or three depending on how many edges you inserted. But we are going to extrude that, and I'll hit OK. Right, I need to start working towards that shape. Let me see. Let me try that again. I'm going to grab all four of these and see if I like this outcome. Good. Extrude. What option? This could work. It's really big. Modify. I'm going to pull that off a little bit. Wow. Could we scale down severe? It has to be wider for this to work. Do I like this as a golf flip? No, that looks pretty terrible. Cancel that, go back one step, and then we will just pull from these two faces. Sometimes you don't know until you do it. Yes, I'm going to rotate that, right? Get this going more vertical, like there, and as we pull apart, okay, this looks this looks more typical, traditional. Okay, stick you here. Having a little bit of creasing here I got to worry about. And I might do another, but I want to see what happens when we start doing this transition. Is this wide enough? No, I need to widen that out a little bit. So grab that point. Okay. And if I was having some doubts about this, I can go back and modify my original shape. Pull that out. That way the transition's more natural. Here, good. All right. Now, this whole circle, I'm going to sketch on that face. Now, because I haven't used this program as much, what I want to do is like a look to normal like I would in SolidWorks, but Since I don't know it, I'll kind of take like a reverse approach. How about 7 mil? Okay. It didn't even draw on the surface, guys. What's happening here? I want to be on, yeah, this plane. The reason I'm not really worried about it is 7 inches again. Sorry, 7 millimeter, and that's the wrong spot. What's happening, guys? Okay. It's not what I wanted, but 7. Got it. Okay. Now I can come back and delete some of the things I don't want. Good deal. Man, why are you fighting me, Fusion? All I want to do is put an object that is 7 millimeters. There. The reason why I wasn't really worried about it is because once I put it down, I can move it, right? I can get it to the point where it's supposed to be. But if I can't get it put down, then not super useful. Okay, how are we looking at? All right. Better. Don't know what that guy's doing over there. All right. So finish the sketch. I'm going to make it into a cylinder. Well, I'm making it a cylinder by extruding it. There we go. Just one side, please. Just the one. And at some point, I mean, you do want to make sure that you have enough, like, we'll say points from the part number 1 to part number 2. If it becomes an issue, I'll come back and modify it. Right now we have like 8 points that go around. Okay. So we need to bridge these two. Really, there's 2 options. Either I can fill this hole and then bridge the 2 faces to one another, or another option, I can do, I think it's a merge edge. We have open edges that you put together. We'll do both, and then we'll go with the one that looks more attractive. So, got to cap it, got to pipe it, sorry, got to fill it. Like, that doesn't look like a cylinder at all, but it does go to a cylinder, right? We can modify this if we wanted to. All right, so let me see what the bridge between these surfaces. All right, I see we have a little bit of an issue. We'll see if it resolves itself. If not, like, we're going from 3 faces to 2 faces. So if it's an issue, we'll come back and fix it, but yep, now let me do it. So we need to add or take away a face. We'll add a face. Insert edge. Rather it be over here. All right. I know it crispened things up. I can go back and modify that later. All right, so now we have 3 faces to work with. Do only 3 faces. Let's try our bridge again. 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3. Same starting point, same direction. No. If you'll bump over 1, yes. Okay. All right, this is nice because that was controlled. I know that's 7. And even if that did get modified, I can move that down. So we have a little bit too much data, in my opinion. If I delete this, right, it should go to being more smooth. Come here. All right, that is better. What I really like to do is transition like that entire section of line. So give me these. Let's see if it is a ring. It is all the way around. Okay. And if I could kindly move you. kind of split the difference. Right, want to try to keep those in line. Maybe I need to add a little bit of an angle to it. Trying to match that. That's just in the angle. This needs to come down and match. And this tapering is actually pretty normal in most golf clubs, so that's why I'm not really worried about it. There we go. So transition from a golf club face to a shaft. Right, you would typically cut it at some point in here, but I know it's going, like it has the right direction, and I can check its transition as it goes to a measured dimension. So that one's good. Still have a feeling if I did the open. So this is good for the golf club. You can add more styling if you want to, but constructing the face, constructing the back, adding this inset, and transitioning to a known dimension is what I'm going for here. I'm going to try to do the bad thing. So I'm done with it, but now I'm kind of asking the question, like if I wanted to make this transition, could I? Right, I want to go from a total of essentially what it was 4, like 3 sections, so 2 sections over here to 3 sections over here. I'm going to switch over into box mode. I was just asking what I want to be boxed. Okay. This way I can see my edges a bit better. And I will attempt the merge edges. All right, that can work. Let's see if we can go back into my smooth mode. Okay, so now you got 2 approaches. Both can work. All right. Feel free to add more stylization. I want to go into the hair dryer. Now this is a little bit different approach. You need to have, I guess, a little experience with building with solids, because what I use on step 7, 8, and 9 directly comes from my setup on step 1. We're going to start with a cylinder this time, and keep in mind, cylinder is a true cylinder. It's not closed in. We will go horizontally with this cylinder. Sizing, I don't know. I don't have any millimeters close to me to tell you, but we're going to start as a circle. By default, we have 8 faces that go around, and then we have 4 different sections, 1, 2, 3, 4. In this case, I'm going to bump that up to 6. Heck, even 7. Okay. So now that that's here, I should have done is stretched it. It's all right. I can stretch it using this. Not move it, not rotate it, but stretch. Thank you. First thing I'm going to do is come to the side and do some profile modifications. Oh, it's actually kind of pretty. I like it. It's not good, but I do like it. Stretch it one more time. Modify everybody direction. Okay. Are we okay now? No, we are not. Last time. Select everyone. Horizontal stretch. Okay. Now, what I want to do is get to a side profile so I can start massaging this a little bit. So we're going to modify a pretty good bit. I'm going to modify the edges, right? Different selection tools. Pull that out. Did I get both sides? No. Why am I not getting both sides with selection? All right, good. And I know that's going to scale down, so we'll go both directions for like the nozzle or the blowing end of the hair dryer. I'm going to get some points. I want it to look strong and forceful, so we're going to add some mass to the back. Now the front, I'm like totally okay with the front looking a bit weird. Oh, I didn't deselect you. Okay. And then we're not going to do the handle quite yet. We'll say that for a little bit, but what I do want to start thinking is just like the overall form. language of this object. We'll start tucking you in some. I want all of these edges. Do I have them? I don't know. Let's go back to line. Everybody, great. Shrink that in some. All right. Works pretty good so far for a base form. Let's add a little bit of styling, right? Because the profile looks all right. I know a handle's going to come out here, so that'll change. Maybe one more vector. Okay. So I want to modify the left, and therefore I want to modify the right because it is a symmetrical object. So I'm going to activate symmetry 1 and 2. Have symmetry down the middle. So whatever I do to the left is also going to happen to the right. Let me see. We'll put some more information through here. Now, one of the biggest things I want you to take away from this is you can leverage symmetry and get one output, or you can ignore it, selecting everything and get a different output. That's going to become very evident when I start doing this handle. But just know that that is a factor coming up pretty soon. I'm going to throw a both on this one. Into location 0.5. Now, right, you see this kind of changed its shape. I did want it to be circular. I can put it back to circular just with like perhaps the face of my golf club. Haven't tried that yet. I don't want to show you new things on the fly, but we might just do that. Let's grab these faces and face modify. How does that look? Pretty good. Flat sides. Get a little bit more crisp this way. You also need to be selected. As you can tell, everything that's happening to the left is also happening to the right. And we'll widen you out some, just to widen. Does it look better or worse? I'll tuck it up. What about that point? And like really the styling, I can give you the tools to do the styling, but I can't tell you like what's the best visual brand language or even form language to work with. It's more of a personal decision. Yeah, they got way too fat. What if we tuck these in? So this part, I'm not grading you on aesthetics. This is not that type of class. I'm really just grading your ability to use the tool. I'm going to do an extrusion. Where do I want a point of detail? Top center, kind of bottom right, bottom left. All right, I'm going to add extrusion here. And I'm going to use the modify. I'd rather modify the faces themselves. How do I get a little twist? There we go. Just trying to see what works best with the geometry I have going on. Little scale. I do like some of this volume change I'm getting here. There we go. A little bit of vector work in here. I guess it's just like the designer in me who's like, you know, I don't have to do this, but I'd like to do this. I'd like it to be more a resolved form than where it's currently at. that's good. And then kind of top center. So I'm going to show you two different options with symmetry being active. The first one is if I choose one side, we'll use these two surfaces, right? It's mirroring on that side. If I just choose the left half to do an extrusion, this is what I get, right? I get what's happening on side A is also happening to side B. Faces, move it down. I think I've actually gone into like what is ugly now. That is option one, right? So if I choose one side and let it mirror, you'll get two capacities or two extrusions. Let's say that's ugly, and I do believe it is quite ugly. If you select kind of like ignoring the symmetry command and do an extrusion on both, you get one. So far it's not uglier. Faces, bring those in. Little bump that way. Symmetry's still active, right? So as soon as I let that go, I could get command back of those four if I wanted to. The more I do it, like, this is like a super masculine dryer, which wasn't my intention, but sometimes that happens. Okay, so now we see the distinction there. I'm gonna go ahead and do the handle, and then I'll come back and finish the intake and the output. So same thing for this bottom. I might need to do like a subdivide in this region. We'll see. An extrusion of 1, 2, 3, 4, and I want all of them. We saw on top why I want all of them. Yeah, it really messed that up. As I pull it, will it fix itself? How's that? No, I don't like it. So, cancel. I want to get back before I made that change, and we need to subdivide. We just need more information here. So, subdivide is a faster version of doing insert edge. Insert edge is more precise. This one simply is that, right? It's going to take everything I have and block it up into 4 groups. Repeat subdivide. Right, so that part isn't as impacted. I want all 4 of these. I'm going to go for an extrusion. All right. And now when you pull downward, I shouldn't get, there we go. These are the same. I shouldn't get the same impact. Now, you can tell like it's a really big body, not big enough handle. What if I go in, cancel, undo, and grab that extra section? So extrude 1, 2, 3, that extra part. Right, that gives me more mass. How does it look when I pull? That's better. And so this one's going to become a bit of form language too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Another extrusion. Extrude and pull. Extrude and pull. Kind of like using clay. You got to add more clay. Pulled it too far. All right. And then we are back to doing kind of a form study. That's not comfortable at all. Let's look at our vertices. If I pull these guys in, not so much. Do I have all 4? Now I do. Right. Thinner, easier to hold. Pull these in, give me a little touch and rotation. Good. I feel like I need a little bit more information in here. I'm going to try to do without it. Like ideally, the more simple way you can do something, the better. Get more Backside, yes. Actually, keep on forgetting I have control over the backside via Symmetry. Habits. All right, give me a bit more chunk at the bottom. All right. There we go. A bit more volume. Right, I should quit playing with it and actually get to the next part. It's just hard to once you start getting into this stuff. Okay, so what we need to do with this overly aggressive, almost like a blaster, it is one definite masculine looking hairdryer. Guys, you need a hairdryer? Maybe you do this. Maybe you don't. Okay. Dinosaurs. Cool. All right, so let's get back to the business of how do we fix into this, right? I want to have a cylinder coming out, and right now, because I added the edges, that more information kind of misaligned, made that shape not as familiar as it once was. So here's a opportunity or example of how to fix it. One, I need to draw on this region. So I'm going to turn my body off, turn my origins on. All right, so we got to move these guys out. I need an offset plane from you. And I'd like to match it. I don't want to change too much about this. I might add a little bit of length, but not that much. All right. Good. On this face, I'm going to sketch again. All right, I'd love to go normal. Where are you? Here you are. And this is where I will drop in a circle, which I know 100% is a circle because I'm drawing a circle. So we're not terribly far from it, but I want something circular. Okay. So we're using new command, pull. What it allows me to do is check these vertices, which are almost circular. I want all these buddies. You and you and you. Okay. Got them all. Now, two options. Auto probably pulls it flat. Don't know. In this case, we're going to select targets, and I'm able to choose the round circle I drew. See, now it is 100% circular. Very nice command to have around. All right, so now we're back to where we started. Get this corrected. What I need to do is start kind of tucking this back under. So I need to add more information. Insert edge. This one. You've got help on the back side. Are we good all the way around? No, we're not. Okay. And once again, I see it, and then I make a change in my mind. I want one more insert edge. And this one we'll keep a bit closer. All right, now we're going to start tucking in. And to tuck in, what you need to do is I'm going to turn off that sketch. I'm done with it. Grab this edge again. Modify. I want to make it a little bit smaller so I can scale it in all directions. I can push it back in, right? You see how we're able to curve in. And be careful in this next one. It's like when you start opening it back up, you can actually make that surface too thin. So slowly need to subdivide again to give myself a little bit more information. Right? You want to control the curvature. Right now we have 1, 2, 3 points. If I have 4 points, maybe even 5, that's where I can get a command of a control, or I can get command that lets me control the curvature. Just a single will be great. And we'll put it just on the inside. So now with this one, using symmetry now. Edges, please, not the surfaces. Do we go all the way around the edge? Brilliant. Modify these. Scaling them in. How about with this one? There we go. Feels like There's a button I shouldn't be hitting. Since I don't know what it is, selection objects, go all the way around, right? Do everybody simultaneously. There we go. We're keeping our circular shape. Right, the more lines that are close together, the crisper. Ooh, what happened there? The further away, the smoother you're going to have a shape be. You, ding, 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 ding. Come in some. Still wrestling with this thing not being like, ooh, terribly ugly, but is achieving the goals that I want, right? We're transitioning. Now we're building the inside of the surface. In terms of the back part of the hairdryer, you'd be doing the same thing. Taking that to a cylindrical shape, that way the engineers can have a body where they can install bosses and ribs, but a really good approach in the different ways to use symmetry to your advantage, and when to kind of ignore it and deal with the left and the right simultaneously. All right, hope this has been helpful. Look forward to seeing your stuff. All right, next time.